You're going to be just fine. For those that don't know, Billy is going to be facing a mammoth task of running for a very long distance. Just a cheeky 64k. It's like uphill, isn't it? So it's not
It's in the
just
mountains,
yeah. It's not just your flat ground 64k. Billy would laugh at that and say, "What? That's just a morning jog. Piss off." Fair play, man.
Yeah, fly out first thing in the morning.
You're flying. That's cheating.
I mean,
Can't fly.
just to the start of the race. Yeah, don't worry.
No point cheating yourself, mate. You're only cheating yourself. No point cheating yourself because you're only cheating yourself. Fuck's sake. Just when you hit the wall, I hope in the hills in the distance my face appears and he just goes,
Don't cheat yourself.
remember, don't cheat yourself, Bill, because you're
only cheating yourself.
Cheating yourself. And you just shit yourself and fall over.
At least I didn't cheat.
Unwaved Network presents Rambles N Records.
I think what you're doing is both very commendable and insane. So
it took me
well
till
done.
this week to realise kind of how crazy it is. But I am looking
It's
forward
crazy
to
as fuck. You're going to be all good. It's going to be fine. And if you shit yourself, don't worry. Okay, anyway. Welcome to another episode, Rambles N Records on the Unwaved Network. We've got a good episode lined up for you today because we're going to be exploring a certain jazz festival that Billy's going to be sharing with us.
Been a ton of new releases this week, which we're quite excited to delve into and share with everyone.
We'll be diving into a new release by Ty Segall, also revisiting a certain album by Yanis and the Yaw. Plus, we're going to be discussing a newly released documentary by the band Pavement, and of course, adding a few tracks to our playlist. Let's get into it.
Absolutely.
Rambles N Records.
So, Billy, hit them with some knowledge.
Yeah, sick. Right, so remember a few weeks ago I was at the festival in Agrigento, and we met this group who were just kind of like traveling around Italy in a van or a car or something, and they were just visiting like a load of festivals. One of the ones that they told us about was Jazz Refound in Piedmont. So I remember checking it out after I got back, and the lineup was incredible. It included the likes of Ezra Collective, Glass Beams, Il Maggio del Gelato were there again as well.
Nice. Ice Cream Wizards. What about Marcus Valle?
Marcus Valle was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the Brazilian musician we've played on the podcast before. Gilles Peterson, Goldie. Lots of cool stuff. So I was following the Instagram page and I was seeing the videos and it was all looking really cool. And I found out a friend of mine actually attended and she was kind enough to give me a little bit of a rundown. Yeah, she said it was incredible. She reckons it's the best festival in Piedmont. Piedmont is a county in Italy. Set in this magical environment. The artists were really good. There was a lot of different genres going on. There was like some experimental stuff. You had jazz, you had like drum and bass stuff happening there. Open to a broad audience. Welcome to all ages. You know, there were kids there, older people there. She seemed to be really impressed with it, the whole thing, and definitely is on my radar for next year.
I read that it's a real immersive event. It includes workshops, food and wine tasting, yoga, cinema, so a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, and you know, it's in the Piedmontese countryside, which is obviously a beautiful region. But yeah, no, some of the highlights. There was a DJ Coco. He's a Japanese DJ. Tends to play a lot of 7-inch records.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, he has quite a broad taste. He selects a lot of different stuff. And you know, seeing him play is like treating his decks as instruments. It's not just playing a track. Like it's quite an immersive style of DJing. Another interesting set from the night was from Ori Jam. So this is actually, from what I can tell, there's a jam session in Hackney Wick where like jazz musicians do kind of improv stuff every week. So it's like a weekly event. But yeah, they seem to be doing festival dates. So
yes.
if it's what I'm imagining, it's kind of like an improv set with just a group of musicians from this scene in London, which sounded really cool. And obviously anyone who's down in London or the UK can probably go check that out on a Monday night, I think it is, from what I can see.
What, just like every Monday?
Every Monday, yeah. Jam sessions, like jazz improv.
Fair play, man. It's more things are popping up in that sense, where you can just go and do your thing.
Yeah, like there's stuff around, man. And there's some really interesting jazz acts coming out of Brum as well. Like, obviously, we have the conservatoire there. They produce a lot of good musicians, so definitely keep your eyes peeled. But yeah, another highlight was the mighty Ezra Collective, of course.
Yeah, biggest band on the bill, I'd say.
Big in London, big in the UK jazz scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, jazz has roots in every country, and I guess the health status of the scene in each country is going to vary. But you definitely get these kind of waves, and then when one is thriving, it has the potential to inspire musicians all over the world, and people trying new things, I guess, and bringing it to a younger audience.
That's the main thing, isn't it? A younger audience kind of making it acceptable, or giving that sort of trend element for the younger audience to be like, oh, okay, they'll be listening to jazz for the rest of their lives or whatever. But it's not just jazz that's really like that, isn't it? It's like any genre in terms of it dipping in and out of relevance culturally.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess at one point jazz was like the rock and roll of the music scene. It was this kind of upstart kind of thing, and you had like the personalities and the egos and the reckless lifestyles and the drug addictions and all of that kind of stuff associated with the jazz musicians before rock ever came about. And then it kind of became the status quo, I guess. Everyone's doing it. It becomes a bit friendly, accessible. Then, yeah, I guess people start to itch for something new and exciting, and then
pop culture comes along and kind of gobbles it up and goes, no, this is great. And then everyone's like, fuck.
Like, I guess quite an observable example of something like that happened in our lifetime is like when you started getting dubstep in like kids' toy adverts on TV.
Yeah, kids' cartoons.
Yeah,
and,
like it was like something you would only find in like some dingy club in Digbeth, and then it's like literally on mainstream television. For
the acceptance of it all comes from one person that's, in the studio in that kids' TV thing. So, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put it on. We'll see what they say. And that guy might get the sack. Promote someone else to come along and do it, and then someone else. And before you know it, yeah, it's fine. I remember that, yeah. Skrillex came out and shit like that.
And that was funny because he used to be the singer of an emo band before he was producing a Skrillex.
Did he? I didn't know that.
He had like the snakebite piercings and everything.
Yo, Skrillex is looking different nowadays. He's in like a leather duster. He's shaved both parts of his hair.
He's gone for both sides now.
Yeah, looking pretty sharp, to be fair. Oh, shit. I've got a picture of the emo Skrillex, MySpace Skrillex. Oh, shit.
I actually knew about him before he became Skrillex. Not that I listened to his band, but like...
Yeah, sure, mate.
I used to hang out in Pigeon Park, so...
Yeah, well, you're not helping your case there. Okay, anyway, we're going off topic.
Yeah.
We're going off topic.
Yeah. Before we get too sidetracked,
look, I could talk about Skrillex all day.
So before we move on to the next topic, I just wanted to add an Ezra Collective song to the playlist.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So the song I'm going to add is called Pure Shade.
Mm-hmm.
This was released on the We Out Here compilation in 2018, which was out on the Brownswood Recordings label, which is obviously Gilles Peterson. And it was a compilation shining a light on the young London jazz scene at the time in 2018, and includes a lot of artists which are still doing really well. Obviously, Ezra Collective, Moses Boyd, Nubia Garcia, Jarman Jones, Kokoroko. Yeah, so it's a really cool album, and
yeah, man,
it's a really cool song.
There it is.
Pure Shade by Ezra Collective on the playlist.
Get it on the playlist. Check it out. Check it out, please. Please. Fucking don't beg, man. Shit.
Rambles N Records.
Did you listen to the new Ty Segall album?
I did. I mean, if you're a drummer, you love it. If you're not a drummer, maybe not. But
yeah, definitely.
It kept you on your toes, man. It was a good listen. In a groove, heads going back and forth. It's like once it got to that point, it went, no, fuck off. We're over here now. We're doing this now. I was just constantly on my toes with it. It was a good listen overall. Interesting album. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's wicked. Like, I had no idea what to expect going in. I didn't read anything beforehand. I just had a notification on my phone, new Ty Segall album, like, stick it on when I was cooking my dinner. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, it's definitely not like an anthemic kind of sing along. Like, it's not the kind of record you're gonna request on your hen party or whatever and sing along to
No,
with your mates.
especially not on mine.
But there was several times where I think I was jamming and grooving to it. I mean, let's explain the concept a little bit,
Okay,
because we're probably going to confuse the
so
audience.
Love Rudiments is an instrumental percussion-centric album that deviates from Ty Segall's usual guitar-driven work. The album is an ode to his first musical love, which is the drums, which I didn't know, to be fair.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It surprised me when I heard that, because I've seen Ty Segall play drums a lot of times. When I watched him play, I was like, oh, that's cool. The guitarist is playing drums. One of my favorite artists to see live, an incredible guitarist.
Was surprised to understand that is him on drums. I was listening to it. I was like, is his name attached to it? But is drummers drumming, or like what's going on here? Like I was just found myself questioning because as I didn't know about his initial playing of the drums.
You know, when he's not playing drums, his normal drummer is also a guitarist.
What the fuck?
When
No, I
he
didn't know
plays
that
drums, the drummer plays guitar.
This is crazy. This is
Charles Moonhart quite often plays with him. He's also an incredible guitarist, but it's a really good drummer, and he plays a lot with him.
It's a good thing to have under your belt, isn't it? It's entirely sort of devoid of guitars, bass, vocals, purely
everything
sort of.
on it's percussion, isn't it?
It literally is, yeah, and it is quite impressive, like in terms of it being just that and it holding up as enough of a listen to the point where you think it's not really missing anything, you know.
So
So
it's definitely a concept album. Obviously, the concept being, love rudiments being, you have drum rudiments, but then you have this concept of love in it as well, and the drum kit being his first love. But then the song titles kind of detail like the stages of a relationship as well. So you have like the 1st meeting, you have like walking home, and you have I think there's like first touch, and then there's a honeymoon, and then there's a falling out as well.
Yeah. I got that. It's kind of like the excitement, the anticipation of a new love, the complexity of a relationship. And yeah, I'd say like the patterns are really sort of immersive throughout it. And it's almost like a meditative experience when you're listening to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd think in summary, it was really, really cool listen and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think you were spot on though. Like, probably it's more compelling for a drummer. Like, I definitely kind of sat there thinking, oh, I wonder how he's playing that. I'd love to like sit behind the kit and just mess around.
Yeah, absolutely. I put my mind like on the drum kit, just understanding how he's playing, what he's playing, or trying to, and that helped with the experience listening to it. I would say
the instrumentation is quite interesting as well. It's not only the drum kit on there. There's the range of percussion that he's used on it.
absolutely.
So I'd like to delve into that a little bit.
Well, we got vibraphone, xylophone, tambourine, wood blocks, and electric drum pads. Yeah, I think it kind of that he's just completely scrapped any sort of rock instrumentation, and it's just really minimalist, isn't it? Something completely new from Ty and any other given album that he's done, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to listen
100%.
to it every day, but when I put it on, it did blow my mind a little bit, and I was like, yeah, fucking hell.
Fucking yeah, man.
Fucking yeah.
Fucking yeah. So, if you haven't listened to it already, we definitely recommend you give it a whirl. It's called Love Rudiments. It was released August 30th on Drag City, and it's his 16th studio album.
I've noticed the songs, they're like, between 10 and 15 minutes. Each song is also divided into like 4 songs, if you notice. He has conveniently released a single, which is an edit of The Dance, which is the one that you can dance to the most. It's a 3-minute section from the second track. Let's put The Dance on the playlist.
Let's get it on the playlist. And where might we find this playlist that we're talking about?
The playlist can be found in the show notes of this episode or any other episode.
I'm doing my own sound effects. I don't want to scare anybody today. So yeah, check that out.
Rambles N Records.
Right. So, what is next? You've heard us talk about this album before. How we were happy with the first 2 songs, and we was looking forward to its release, and it's here. So, Yanis and the Yaw Lagos, Paris, London. It was released on August 30th. Was the Ty album August 30th?
Same day. Yeah.
Same day as the Ty Segall album, and it's been released on Transgressive Records. Yanis and the Yaw is essentially a mini supergroup, if you like. A joint sort of concept between the frontman of Foals, Yanis Philippakis, and the legendary late drummer, Tony Allen. Unfortunately, he passed away during the creation of this, which, you know, makes it a lot more meaningful. And the EP which has been released features a blend of rhythmic Afrobeat percussion provided by none other than Tony Allen, alongside then Yanis's distinct sort of indie rock sensibilities. So it's a really, really, really good listen, start to finish.
Yeah, man.
What do you
It's
think,
really
though?
nice. It's really cool. It does kind of sound like if someone had said, "Oh, make a Afrobeat Foals album," and it's like, or a EP
like
or
you're
whatever.
literally asking ChatGPT, like, make a really, really good Afrobeat Foals album. Hold
Yeah.
my beer. Here you go, bro.
Like it's kind of got both personalities coming through on it, but they sit together really well.
Absolutely.
And like you say, all the tracks are solid. Like there isn't a bad one on there.
I'd even go
And
as far as to say it's a no skip.
no skip.
As with this show, in every given sense, a lot is in production. So yeah, we was thinking about a segment in terms of albums or releases that we feel are enjoyable from start to finish, with no track that feels a bit lesser than the rest. And this, we would say, is definitely one of those. Check it out.
Yeah,
What
man.
one should we put on the playlist?
We already put on Under the Strikes, didn't we, before? I would say that one stood out to me a lot still, even, I don't know whether it's because I've heard it more times. I also found Clementine quite interesting. I think it sounded a bit different to the rest of it. It was almost a bit poppier. It kind of almost had like a jungle kind of disco-y pop sound to it, which was interesting.
Yeah. More of a delicate approach. Yeah, I hear that.
But I don't know, yeah, what do you think?
Walk Through Fire is wicked. So we spoke about Walk Through Fire and Under the Strikes before. Other tracks, track 2 of 3, Rain Can't Reach Us, and then you got Night Green, Heavy Love. Those are both good tracks. But yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Clementine.
Let's do
I
it.
think it's a good track.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Clementine, we'll pop that in the playlist. Go check it out.
Check it out. We already kind of covered the long story before, so if you want to go back and hear a bit more about it, you can always find the episode on Spotify or wherever else you consume our podcast.
Absolutely.
Rambles N Records.
I found something out that was really interesting, and that is that, what are we on today? Today is going to be the premiere of a biopic / documentary of the 90s American indie band Pavement. It's going to be premiered at the Venice International Film Festival, and the genre is experimental musical biopic / documentary / mockumentary. Very interesting. So you've got Joe Keery, who he was in Stranger Things.
Who did he play?
Oh, fucking hell, what was his name? Like, the dude that Joe...
One that worked in the ice cream shop.
Yeah, fucking yeah. That guy.
I think he was in like a garage psych band.
Was he?
Yeah, they were quite good, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it kind of sounded like a lot of other stuff that was coming out at the time. Let me double check that because I'm not 100% sure, but I think...
No, it says here, genres, neo-psychedelia. So he was in the band Post Animal.
That's the one.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out. So the film is called Pavements. Just slap an S on it. So yeah, it's an unconventional biopic about the influential 90s indie rock band Pavement, blending real documentary footage with fictionalized elements. It's not your typical rock documentary, it's safe to say. It merges scripted scenes, live performances, metatextual commentary, embodying then the chaotic and self-aware spirit of the band itself. And for any sort of fan of Pavement, it's obviously going to evoke a lot of feeling of nostalgia, taking you back to maybe if you were living through the 90s and loved Pavement, if you end up loving Pavement afterwards, but then also throw you back to the present, give you a creative insight in a mockumentary way, and some commentary on top and whatever. So if you're a fan of Pavement, or even 90s indie, anything like that, I just definitely recommend checking it out. So it'll be premiered tonight, which is September 4th. There's no real dates on when it's going to be released after that, but I imagine it'll be on streaming services soon.
That sounds interesting, yeah. I can't say that I really listened to much Pavement, but I'm interested to see after your very convincing pitch.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. I love Pavement. Pavement's sick.
Rambles N Records.
Okay, so one last thing, definitely worth mentioning, is that RZA, the RZA of Wu-Tang Clan, an absolute legend, has recently ventured into the world of classical music and released a new album called A Ballet Through Mud, going again into different concepts here. That's what this episode seems to be leaning towards. And something else that's weird is the fact that it was again released August 30th. So it's been an
Wow.
interesting day in the world of music. It is a classical orchestral piece recorded in collaboration with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra, and it's in relation to a ballet that RZA sort of wrote, organized, and has performed throughout the last year. Not himself. I've seen some footage. He was on decks and he was sort of scratching while the orchestra were sort of playing and things like that.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, he has been involved in the composition elements as well. So
I guess the question is it good though?
Mate, honestly, it was a beautiful album, start to finish. It made me feel things, Bill.
Okay. Yeah.
Not like stupid feelings and that. It was really good. Like
Shit.
shit, son. Yeah, honestly, I feel as if it is a musical like triumph because the fact that you've got somebody like RZA who is in the world of hip hop, he's then come along and gone, yeah, I'm going to write a ballet. And then that makes the world stop and go, hang on, what? Because I'm going to listen to that now. And if I enjoy it, what am I going to say? How is this going to go? And I
What
think,
else can I enjoy?
what else can you go out and enjoy? It's really doing that. It's pushing the boundaries of look. Just because something doesn't quite fit the mold of what you're supposed to like doesn't mean you can't like it. And when you do that, it's mad how RZA's name is attached to something and all of a sudden it gives you almost permission to like it. That's what I felt like. Do you know what I mean? Someone comes up to you and goes, yo, I've heard this new album. It's Tchaikovsky's, something symphony. I don't know. Give it a listen. It's really fucking cool. Naturally, I think you're going to go, fuck. I mean, I'll give it a go, but it's not really my bag, and you go in with this kind of negative glass half empty approach.
I guess, you know what? I think there's probably like an element of maybe like a sense of exclusivity to like certain genres, maybe like jazz and classical, especially where maybe it's kind of associated more with wealthier, I don't know, backgrounds or demographics. And yeah, maybe it's harder for people who don't come from a certain background to feel connected to it. And then like having this kind of, having this bridge to it, can facilitate that.
Yeah, and then you got RZA, who just grew up in Staten Island, New York, was in one of the biggest hip hop collectives of all time, and it's like he's saying, "Look, it's okay, you can," and I love that. I love that. I agree with that what you just said, and also just I guess how advanced classical music is, the structure. It can be intimidating. There's a lot to understand.
Yeah, I think it's quite similar to what's happening with jazz at the moment as well. Like, because there seem to be like a lot of hip hop elements and that kind of sensibility kind of coming back into jazz. Hip hop originally borrowed from jazz, and now like jazz musicians are kind of leaning into the hip hop more, and then it's kind of making it acceptable or accessible for people to be like, yeah, I can jam to this.
Absolutely.
And not just be like, oh, do I need to have gone to music school to understand or appreciate this? Or
yeah, it's like, no, you learn on the way. It's kind of all the boxes that are each genre are slowly becoming more open and mixing into one another, and it's great. So the project originated during the pandemic when RZA visited old notebooks filled with lyrics he'd wrote as a teenager, and rather than setting these lyrics to music in traditional hip-hop sense, he was inspired to compose a classical ballet score. Now, how do you get there? There's many things you could do with that lyric, but you could just publish it. You could write an audiobook. You could do some sort of TV show, film. Take to the stage, theatre, I guess, but then that next step is ballet. So he went straight to ballet. The work was initially performed live in 2023, features narrative centered of coming-of-age story where characters are named after Greek musical scales, and the ballet explores themes of love, loss, self-discovery, and mirroring RZA's own journey from Staten Island to global recognition.
wow.
So even if you go in with like a blank slate, I don't know anything about ballet, I don't know anything about classical music, I promise you, if you give that album the time of day, you will find enjoyment in it. It's, I guess, groundbreaking is what I would say. 100%.
That's sick.
Groundbreaking album.
You should go into sales, Clark, because you're really selling it.
RZA, hit us up. RZA, come
Hits
on.
up.
Come on. I just got you a few more sales there. And by that, I mean, maybe none. But yeah, deeply personal story. It's got such an interesting concept to it. One other thing as well that I'll touch on is that the album had been crafted with meticulous attention to detail, but it was also recorded in the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus. Have you heard about this?
No.
Obviously, then I just read that. So then what did I do after that? I was like, what the fuck's the John Lennon Educational Tour Bus experience? And I found out it is a non-profit mobile recording studio and production facility dedicated to providing young people with free hands-on opportunities to create music, video, photography, and other digital media projects. It was launched in 1998, and it's a bus that is state-of-the-art studio on wheels.
But you said state of the art. Was it state of the art in 1998, or is it still state of
maybe
the
not.
art now?
You step on your bus and it's just all creaky and rusted. You're like, fuck's sake. Shit, no wonder it's free.
Just like
Fuck you, Yoko.
the computer's still running Windows XP. Windows 98?
Windows
Fucking
98.
Literally 98, yeah.
Beep, boop, brrr. Yeah.
Put it on dial-up on the bus. You can't even get dial-up on a bus.
I dread to think. No, I think they've updated it since. It was named after John Lennon, supported by Yoko Ono. The bus travels across the United States and at times internationally, visiting schools, community centres, and events, offering workshops and encouraging students to express themselves through the arts. The program aims to empower young people and foster an interest in music and media production that can lead to future careers in these fields. And something to do with Dolby Atmos. That's all I got. So, yeah, man, go check that album out. If you want to try something new. In fact, if you want to try something new, pretty much check out any album that we've discussed in this fucking episode. Yeah. Go ahead and pop one of the songs from this album on the playlist as well.
Awesome. Yeah, should, man.
And yeah, I guess that wraps it up for this episode. Unless, Billy, have you got anything else you want to bring to the people before we say bye?
Rambles N Records.
Do you think it's worth us hinting at or introducing Hear Me Out?
No, Billy.
No. Okay.
No, we can, yeah. So we're thinking about soon, probably next episode, we're going to be bringing a new segment called Hear Me Out. What's Hear Me Out? Oh my God, what's that? That sounds stupid. Well, you're wrong, actually, because it's a segment where we're going to be bringing to the table one album that for one reason or another we love, that we assume the other person doesn't like. It might be a bit on the weird side. We might think, right, I love this, but does Billy love it? Billy says, I love this album. Does Clark love it? We're going to find out. Odds are we won't. And then the objective is to kind of back the case for the album, why it's so good. And then at the end, the other person can go, you know what? I like it now. Or the other person might go, you know what? Still terrible. But either way...
Exactly. We get to listen to some new music. We get to challenge our tastes. We get to chat some more shit to you guys.
Just chat shit. But ultimately, what we like to do here, what we've tried to project in this episode as well, is to keep an open mind.
And what I was wondering is, should I present to you the album now so that you can listen to it in preparation for next week?
Whoa. Yeah, go on then. Hit me with it.
Okay, so my album that I'm going to be putting on the table for you to listen to this week is Amneoverse by Lapalux.
Okay.
I'm not going to say too much about it for now. I'll just leave you to listen to it and yeah, let me know what you think next week.
Yeah, I'll check it out, man. Awesome. I might as well give you mine. Mine is Songs Ohio, and the album is Magnolia Electric Company.
Magnolia Electric Company. Cool. So I guess that's it for this week then, right?
Yeah, man. We'll put all the songs we mentioned out of the albums that we talked about in the playlist. Go and check them out. Follow us on socials and do some other stuff.
Shout out to my friend Julia for giving me the rundown on a jazz we found. Forgot to say it earlier.
Shout out Julia. And yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
Keep it cool.
Keep it cool.
And look forward to listening to some weird shit next week.
Yeah, man. See you next week.